All right, hello, we are live. Welcome to Old Men Talk. We're just gonna kind of have some talking, myself and DL. Some dogs in the background with some grumpy old men up there, just talking like me and DL because that's what we can do because we're old men.
Yeah.
By today's standards, we're ancient and probably already in the grave. We just refuse to stop breathing. But yeah, I had one of those days today where I talked about I got the new pod system, and it's been a couple weeks now. I've still not heard anything back from the insurance or the doctors. So I called the insurance company myself to find out what we could get done about getting me those sensors. I figured I'm not going to play the waiting game. I'm going to call, be a little proactive, if you will. So I did. I spent about an hour and a half with this poor gal. I don't want to dox anybody or my insurances and whatnot, but I did tell her I would be streaming, and I wanted to thank her, Danielle, because this poor girl got to witness what you and I deal with when we have to go on Part B's and hunt down the stuff that oh, this provider will have it, and then 10 providers later you still don't have anybody that has the item you're looking for, and it's a medical part, so again, thank you to Danielle. And then the dentist, I ended up getting a hold of the right lady who also has the name of one of the YouTubers that we know from another planet. Miss Janet from the dental office also went out of her way to help me because I have to do 2 crowns, DL. But the insurance company only wants to pay for half, even though they're 100% covered. Half isn't 100%, baby. So yeah, we're just gonna go with the what they call temporary crowns. But I had to make 2 appointments, one on the 10th of January and one on the 25th. Because I went in a couple weeks ago, with the holes and whatnot, and they examined everything and they were like, oh yeah, we just got to get pre-authorization. And I thought that the appointment I was supposed to have tomorrow would be to do the teeth until I got the paperwork today. So yeah, but she helped me make sure we've got 2 appointments if needed. We can get both, because to me, I don't understand it, bro. Like, I have a bottom tooth and a top tooth that need to be capped. Let's just get them both done at once. Like, we're old school. They used to rip out our fucking teeth and not care.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, so throughout the day, a younger gal got to see what older gentlemen go through on this system that we're lied to that's supposed to take care of us. Because you figure you retire or become disabled or, you'll be taken care of because you paid into the system. But y'all don't realize the amount of insanity we go through. Like for me, again, this new setup, you can use your phone, but there's also apparently another way of doing it. Like the lady was asking me this, and I'm like, honey, I don't understand what you're asking me because I don't understand the setup. Like, I understand that this was the part that was denied. If there's more that can go with it, then yeah, I want it. And basically, instead of having to do it from the cell phone deal, I guess there's also another monitoring system that you can do. So, of course, I'm going to want to back up. I was kind of leery about the phone thing.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I mean, but that, like I said, all that got taken care of because instead of me waiting on them to never do anything, I'm, calling and pestering and bugging and poking and prodding. But of course, if I don't get these things, I can't use the $3,000 they've already spent on half of the product that I picked up from my local pharmacy, but the other half, because they deem it not medically necessarily, it has to go through basically like one of the home care places, So like if you needed a walker or something, you go to one of those places, not your pharmacy, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm thinking, the fuck difference does it make? Look, the systems work together to keep me alive. I don't give a fuck how I get it. Please just make sure I get it. And again, like I said, we went through 10 providers, and that's a minimum before we finally got one. The one here in town, of course, oh yeah, they should do it. We call them. Nope, they don't do it. We don't do any of that. Well, what the fuck good are you? So, yeah.
I just remember
one of those days.
I just missed the good old days when you had good insurance.
Dude, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield back in 2000s, man. And when I worked for Eastman Kodak Film. Mm-hmm. And yeah, for real though. I did. I would I had no deductible. There was no spend downs or any of that shit. It was a network, but everybody was in the network, so it didn't really matter. I think for family insurance a month was $25, if I remember right. It was $25 a month. Or maybe it was 25 a week, because this is back in like the mid 90s. Well, 98, 95 through 98, or 96 through 98, 99 time frame. But yeah, I mean, like, everything was covered. You didn't have to deal with any bullshit, go to the doctor, if you did have a spend down, it was like $10 or whatever, copay, or it wasn't, you had to have thousands of dollars in medical prepaid before you're covered at 100%, like the shit they're doing now. And what I don't get, DL, here's my question. Why is it that every legal citizen doesn't already have Medicare and Medicaid anyway?
Yeah.
Because then the state and the federal government, those are the ones that are in, that's their thing. So that's where you should get the best prices outside of the market. So if you're here and you've got a different insurance, it's because you're a damn illegal that ain't supposed to be here. But like Canada, our shit should be covered, but not the same way. Because, the guys we talk to that are overseas that have that healthcare, it's nowhere like you and I might have to turn around and go see a specialist, but it's usually within, pre-pandemic, it was usually within 6 weeks. You get in for said issue and get in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously depending on said situations, et cetera, et cetera. But like for poor Brent with his knee, like they did the x-ray and they've been sitting on it for 6 weeks. When I rolled my ankle in 2 hours, I saw the x-ray, a surgeon had looked at it, and, I was in and out, walked in, walked out, had everything within an hour and a half. So, it's the stuff there. There's ideas there that are good, but what they do there wouldn't work here in America.
Mm-mm.
Unfortunately.
Well, people talk about, let's have what Canada's got. You got to remember, though, Canada's only got 30 million people in the entire freaking country. So
exactly,
what
what's
they
up,
got
Parrot Head?
Isn't going to work down here.
Right, and that's always been my thought on it too. And again, okay, you have to address the elephant in the room with the illegals. You can't. There has to be something done with them too. They can't just get the benefits just because they're here. It should go to, the legal citizens first and foremost. Our elderly, our veterans, those kind of people should be taken care of first, and then and only then, after you've taken care of your backyard, do you worry about other people. And I get it. There's shitty places in the world, but you know what? You bringing your problems here and then trying to convert our ways to your ways. No, you need to go back to where you came from. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Either come here and adapt like the rest of us have, because let's face it, we're all a bunch of mutts in America. There are no, legitimate tribes left anymore. That's gone. We are the mutts of the universe, my friend.
Yep.
We got them from everywhere. And that's great, but we need to dip out of the world's problems because we can't take care of our own backyard. We got states that are fighting each other. We got, the insanity with the election and the commie Democrats and the crazy Republicans and, the third party that doesn't exist.
Let's see, the Democrats need brains and the Republicans need balls.
Yes.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yep. This is true. This is very true. Because again, we weren't the ones that were out doing attacking. Then they say that we did the January 6th thing, which was a cover up for the, so we didn't have to talk about the election and get the facts about how all of a sudden all these numbers magically appeared. No. We're going to indict Trump again too. It's been 2 years. We've gone almost full communism, and this motherfucker's not been inducted. Has not been at all. Wait a minute.
They still got people sitting in jail supposedly had something to do with January 6th.
Yeah.
And they have never stood before a judge or anything yet.
No, but illegals fly through the courts. How is that right? Like my problem with Trump was after he was out, he was a civilian like you and me, dude. And yet they were going after everybody and arresting everybody that had anything to do with Trump. Like that's harassment by your government. I thought we were supposed to be protected from that shit. And yet we watched it happen in real time. And then those of us that are Republican, like old school real Republicans and stuff, are now the Nazis for no reason. But we're not the ones that were causing all the violence.
We're not the ones silencing people. We're not the ones doing forcing people to, oh, you have to have the jab. No.
Yep.
No, I don't want the jab. Well, you have to have. Says who?
But that's how they were acting, though, you know. And we sat here and watched, you know, Mr. Peabody have to literally go get it, or else he couldn't go to the grocery store. Yeah. You know, and I mean, there were ways around it, sure, but we don't have all the input that we need. You know, we don't have all the data at all, no matter how you feel about the situation. So, for it, against it, whatever. I'm just saying there was a lot more data that needed to be collected, especially how quick we went into human trials. And again, it doesn't stop you from getting or prevent you from spreading. So what does it do?
Yeah.
That's my point. You know, I don't understand if it's literally there's 100 people and out of that 100 people, 50 get it and 50 don't. You got a 50-50 chance of getting it. It's just kind of like most flus. Once your body has categorized the flu, that version of it, you've got the antibodies for it, I guess, for like your entire existence that you're on the planet, right? That's how I understand it. Yeah. So, and then of course that's why the virus is always mutating, kind of like the Borg, if you will. You know, you can shoot them and phase them, and then all of a sudden your phaser don't work no more after.
They've become immune.
Yeah. Hence, just like said, you know, since that's the way that's technically how it works. Science, bitches. But yeah, that's that. That's the whole point of that. So when you change the definition of, and then they're trying to tell me I got to do this, and I'm thinking, you know, I remember one of the key things where people like us that were a little bit older with certain things shouldn't, you know, really didn't want the original virus. And I'm thinking, I don't want the man-made one either, because there's no guarantees it's going to fight the original one, which it didn't. So I don't do flu shots. I've had a couple in my entire life. The 47 years on this planet, I've only had it like 2 or 3 times. And when I was older and got it, I kept getting sick. And I'm like, fuck this. Then I quit getting the jab. And I haven't had the flu since the COVID nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Well, during COVID, didn't you notice that the flu disappeared and everything?
Oh, yeah. Well, you've been here longer than I. And you remember the real old school flus where you were sick for like 2 fucking days?
Oh, yeah.
The 48 hours. But like there were those. But remember the real flu that knocked you on your ass for about a week?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I had. When I got sick, and mind you, I didn't get the COVID vaccine, but I did get the whooping cough tetanus vaccine, which it was like 2 parts whooping cough, 1 part tetanus. And I was about due for a tetanus shot anyway. And it was one of the new procedures they wanted you to do. And like, I can honestly say, I never was tested or positive of COVID, but I know I caught something. And it was like the old school flu. You know, I was on my ass for a good week. I was literally on my ass for about 2.5, but you know, recovery took forever, which does happen. I have a slow recovery. Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's all I did was get the vaccine, but the wife had been sick. You know, she was sick with something. So, you know, and I'd been exposed to it for about a week when I got vaccinated. So I'd already been fighting off whatever germs she had, taking care of her and her brother when they were sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're only assuming it was COVID because that's what they would have said. You know, oh, it's COVID. But yet it was the same symptoms of like 90 other things. So I don't believe that at all. I believe it was just what I got was like the flu, the old school flu that would knock you on your ass for a week. Because I've had that flu. I've had 20, you know, I can't say I've ever had a 24-hour flu, I mean, shit, bro. Food poisoning usually lasts at least 2 days.
If not longer.
Yeah, if not long. Yeah. So, I mean, I've never had a 24-hour flu, maybe a cold, but yeah, it's usually been like a couple days and then you're all right with a cold, but you still got snotty noses or, some of the symptoms, but you don't got the fever and all that kind of shit. So, yeah, I don't know when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, it's just weird for older guys like us to have to sit back and think like, hey, when I was like late 20s, early 30s was when I was just like, I'm not doing this shit no more. Like, it's like I get it, then I get a little bit of sick from the vaccine, which is what's supposed to happen, but then you get the virus that's running around anyway. So that's why I stopped doing the flu vaccine. So the answer of is the flu cured with the vaccine is yes, then I don't care about any flu viruses that are coming. Like, I've already survived every one they've dropped at us for the last 47 years. For, a lot longer. And we're both still here. So, the way I look at it, hey, I'm good. And if it does take me out and it could have been prevented by me doing that, well, I guess that's on me then.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I view it. I can't trust modern science because there's no science involved.
Well, when the COVID first started, they're like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, no. I said, I've survived everything from the Cuban Missile Crisis till now. So, yeah.
When they started the mask stuff, bro, I'd walk down and go get a pack of cigarettes and, come back. And, and then there's people with masks and they had the sneeze guards up. And I'm like, sneeze guards didn't even work on buffets. They're not going to work right here, guys. Like, this makes no sense. There's this huge area that air gets through and above it that air gets through. So even if I sneeze and it splatters on the sneeze guard, it's still in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I don't have anything, which I didn't, but yeah, like I'd run in and like that was the best part of that. Like when nobody was on the roads, I could jump in the car, run up the road, and be back in less than 2.5 minutes because nobody was out.
Yeah.
But I mean, then eventually I got tired of smoking and, with everything going on, I was like this. And then I had, grandbaby. And that was really I was just done. I'm like, all right, I got to be an adult now. Cause now it is, I'm in the middle part of my life. As I've said, we're middle-aged in my opinion, DL. All of us are once you hit past that kind of 30s, because it depends on, okay, how do you view life? The life expectancy of people pre-pandemic was way higher than since pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nobody really lives to be 100 very much anymore. It's kind of like, it's pretty grim when, 60 is like the milestone. If you make it past that, now you're fucking hillbilly grandpa, and you're only, and you're just barely over that number. But that's how they make me feel like you're Pop Smurf instead of Papa Smurf, you're Pop Smurf.
Yeah.
The older Smurf, and you're not that old. It's like, for me being almost 50, dude, and it's like, holy shit. But you would think the new 50 is like 70.
The way they act, yeah.
That's how they kind of act. Yeah. And I'm like, but we used to live to be almost 100, man. Like, so if now you're pushing that 60 to 70 is lifespan, why the fuck are we retiring at 65 or 67 if you're only going to have 3 years to fucking live past retirement? That means you're literally working your entire life away to do nothing but work and be a slave and never vacation or have a life or, and again, you worked your ass off back in the decades, brother. I know you did.
Oh, yeah.
Real work, manly work, real shit, not just standing there at a fucking kiosk all day.
No, a lot of factory work.
Yeah, man, because we made shit back then.
Mm.
America made shit. We didn't have other countries make it for us. So yeah, brother, it is though. It's really irritating that seems to be the case though these days anymore. It's just like whatever. And again, your healthcare, when you guys come to collect it, as Carlin said, it's steadily going away. It's no joke. I mean, I can't tell you how many times well, you can't just do it this way. You got to go through this provider. And then a year later or 2 years later, they get it through another provider that's even cheaper. So now you got to jump through all these fucking hoops to get the shit you were already getting for. But because they get it at a cheaper rate, or it'll be the same product, but under a different label because it's cheaper. And I'm like, it's the same fucking product. Like, we don't need 57 kinds of aspirin. We just need one that's called aspirin.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be $1 a fucking bottle, you know, because aspirin is not that expensive to make. And aspirin will cure about 99% of the shit that you really need it to do. There are all those one exceptions where you may need pain pills and whatnot. And I get that. But yeah, you know, that's for me. I never was addicted to pain pills because I took them like you're fucking supposed to.
Yeah.
That's with a broken back and, you know, messed up hips and all the other shit I got wrong with me. And I'm not on pain pills. So I've been in pain every day, man. If I wasn't, I think I'd be dead or comatose. It's the snap, crackle, pops when we get up and walk that makes me realize I'm still alive, baby.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's like, holy shit. If I got up and I didn't hurt, I would expect that was heaven. Yes, exactly. Yep. Lose your provider. Yep. Because the government wants to get paid more money. It's always stupid. Like, and this is the key thing, Parrot. MiniMed is who my insulin pump is through right now, right? So MiniMed is a company. They are the company that makes this shit. They're the company I used to call, and the insurance, you know, would just pay the shit. Then I had to go through a different provider, and I was told because, well, there's places in your state that can get it. But yet the state I live in isn't the state the shit was coming out of. It was coming like 2 and 3 states away. I go, so why the fuck can't I just call the place that makes the shit and have them send it to me and you assholes pay? Why is it you got to save like probably a quarter of a penny and I have to go through all these fucking hoops to get shit that they're still getting from the same person? It's just shipped to them and they're a third party shipping it to me. I shouldn't need a third party to get my prescriptions.
Why all the hoops? I mean, why can't you just call it, get it done, be done with it?
And that's, if you guys are in our insurance making us have insurance, then they should have to pay it and we not go through these hoops. I'm sorry. That's how it used to be. You had insurance. And if there was something that you had to pay out of pocket or whatever, they had all kinds of plans and whatnot, usually, or it was an affordable, you know, $10 copay, for example. I remember a $10 copay for some shit. I can't remember what it was, but it was like $10, dude. It was affordable compared to what it came to insurance. This whole, once Obama got the government in the insurance, was horrible. It's more evil than when they started cloning sheep, bro, in my opinion. Because I know you've seen the lack of healthcare we're actually getting now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse than when you used to pay $25 for a fucking aspirin at the ER. You know, nowadays they don't even, if your symptoms don't meet the list, you're fucked. Dude, I almost lost my diabetic doctor because he's leaving the clinic he's at, but he's going to a different practice, but he can't tell me. So, you know, because legally he can't tell me where or anything. So I said, all right, man. Are you staying in the Michiana area? That's a question he can answer. Because that was my main thing. I'm like, if you're not going to be in my area, I'm not going to chase you down. Like, I like this doctor. I've been with him for like 14 years. So I really don't want to lose him. And I thought he was retiring. So I started breaking his balls. I'm like, how are you going to leave me, man? How are you going to retire? And I'm still diabetic. You got to fix me before, you know, just making jokes and stuff. And, you know, as I do with everybody. And he's like, no, I'm not retiring. I'm just not going to be here. But he can't tell me where he's going. So I was just like, all right. I'm like, okay, dude, well, I know how to use Google. So, I'll start looking for you about February, and he just smiled. So I was like, all right, bet. So yeah, like I'll still have the same doctor. And that's why this whole pump thing that I'm doing, the new pump thing that I'm doing, it'll give me time to build up a back stock of that shit. Cause I've still got back stock of the supplies I'm on now. I got to get through. So I was kind of going to be goofy and wait and see, but I'm like, fuck it, man. It's a closed system, so it actually works like your pancreas does and shit. You got to do a couple things to, check up on it and whatnot. But, I'm still going to have to check blood sugars and probably put shit in or whatever. But it's supposed to be more like an actual pancreas. So we'll see. The one I have has sensors, but the insurance company cunts won't pay for it. So even though that for the last 10 years on this pump, I could have had a sensor and had phenomenal A1Cs and my diabetes be massively in great control because they wanted to save a fucking couple bucks and my life doesn't matter. They refuse to cover the shit. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks. That's only a decade off my fucking life. Pricks. Also, they could save some money. So yeah.
Well, see, you said that they might save like a quarter of a penny or something. Well, the way they look at it, you're just a quarter of a penny. But if they do that with everybody, then those quarters of a penny add up.
Oh, yeah, it's more money in their pocket, definitely.
At the end of the day.
Well, it's actually not even more money in their pocket because they're flushing it to the illegals that they're so worried about who they should just be fucking sending back, And if you've been branded, we know you've been here. Sorry, next time you leave your fertilizer. Yeah. Because you've already crossed our borders once illegally, and we told you not to come back, and you came back. Well, now you're going to at least fertilize the ground that you're not even supposed to be on. I like that idea, personally.
No argument here. Open border. I mean, and when I mean open, I mean it's wide open.
We've had no border patrol for about, I don't know, a very, very long time.
Well, when Obama was in there, the border patrol agents, they just gave them paintball guns to defend themselves with.
Oh, yeah. Well, but it goes back even before that, though. We've had an illegal issue even back, before Clinton. It's one of those things that they've steadily let the same shit happen year after year, decade after decade. And now let's face it, we are over fucking populated. Whether you like it or not, we are overpopulated. There's too many, we have cities with people crawling on top of each other as if some of the shitholes in other countries where people are cram-packed in these shitholes on top of each other. I don't see a difference. Do you?
No.
Okay. So the big city jungle shit, I'm more of a country bunkin myself. I like being where I'm at. I enjoy having land. I enjoy trees and wildlife and, all the cool stuff that I get to deal with. And then drive 5 minutes down the road and there's a Walmart and fast food and all that shit that I don't eat anymore. But, it's still there for those that do. I'm not that far out in the boonies, but I would prefer to be like, I don't know, 1 million acres away from anybody. Like that would be my dream location. You'd see him coming from miles away and get him with the sniper rifle if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
So, but don't worry, like the Batcave, there'll be a secret entrance for you, DL. You'll never have to worry about that. You'll have your own, sit in the chair, push the button, and next thing you know, you're at like Wayne Manor, baby. Except for it'll be the Wiener Manor, so it'd be Frank's Manor. Manor of the Wiener. But yeah, brother, I mean, I don't know. It gets kind of scary from time to time, the shit we're seeing. And I don't know. They were babbling something about gas again and Biden. I just couldn't even care to pay attention today. I just had too much other shit going on.
Anything he says, it sounds like, remember the Charlie Brown, when the grown-ups would talk.
Yep.
That's Joe Biden right there.
Yep.
That's,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why anyone would take anything he says serious. I mean, there goes Grandpa again. He's off his meds again.
Well, you remember when we had the real racist, and I do mean racist, like great grandparents who would say certain words like there better not be none of this on my port, and kind of stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's like we had and like they were legitimately like fucking racist, man. Like by no holds back, these people, they were not racist, correct?
Oh, they were racist, all right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like even today's standards have nothing on it, but yes, back then they were fucking racist. And it was like, damn, you motherfuckers is nuts. And I mean, I get it, different times in the 20s, and okay, all right. But they have since passed on, and these future generations, I just see nothing but pussies.
Yes.
And it's really scary. Because sadly enough, it is. If you need help, please go out there and get it. Because what's about to come out of my mouth is really going to be a little harsh. What's up, Nelson? My man. What's up, brother? All good. All good. We're just old men babbling, man. I had a pretty good day, and I got to educate a young lady on basically Medicare and Medicaid. And she got to see the nightmarish that us older disabled people have to deal with when you're just trying to get something simple, and then an hour and 20 minutes later, and like 10 lists of people that are supposed to be able to do the job that can't. She kind of understood why we're a little cranky from time to time when we go, God damn it, just pay for my shit. And then DL was feeling a little bit better today, and we figured, he was down to do a quick stream with me. I thought it'd be fun to throw the old Muppets in the background as we just kind of ramble on and have some fun, man. Kind of the thing. But yeah, it's literally like, if you're down, like we all have lifelines. I've got DL has me. I've got Etep and, Tony and all the guys, we all talk daily. A lot of people, this is a really funny thing, but they didn't seem to understand that like Deranged and I had been friends long before other people and I have been friends. So DL and I had already had quite a relationship prior to other people. So like he and I would talk daily, if we don't talk like this, and live stream, we're back on, Discord or something else, or we're on Messenger talking and sending messages, or on the phone. We have each other's phone numbers because we're old school,
Yes.
So we talk probably at least 5 times a week, one way or another, and we stream too. So we literally talk almost every single day. There's nothing wrong with that. But, it's motherfuckers just don't realize sometimes. Older guys do talk, and have fun. And that's because we don't know how long we're going to be here. So we're just going to have some fun, And my point of suicide, and please nobody get upset, but you're a pussy. Because no matter what you did, you took the easy way out. I'm sorry to say it. The only person that got what they wanted was you. That's just my point of view. I understand that there's mental disorders and other shit like that, but that's just my opinion on it. When David Frank just died, the Green Power Ranger, Jason David Frank, when he just, I get it. Divorce can be a horrible thing. I'm sorry that he did not have the right kind of people network to reach out to pull him out of that. And it is a very sad tale because he was a great guy from those I know that met him. And again, we lost possibly a great actor that could do films that we need for the next 20 years. And now we don't. And again, I don't know the whole stories. It had nothing to really do with him. I kind of left that the rest of what I just said out yesterday because Jet Spark was a big fan as well. He's the same age as some of my kids. I get it. My kids grew up on that too. So I understand it. But again, I'm old school. That's just my perspective of it because you're very selfish because it's only about you, not about, maybe the reflections of what you're going to do on the loved ones. Maybe had you got counseling or, so again, it's to each their own though, it is what it is. But again, I should be allowed to have my opinion, to speak my opinion. And then whether you like it or not, it's fine. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you don't want to talk to me because of it, well, that's not my problem. It's really yours. So, I'm not going to change for anybody. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. I ain't changed in 14 years. I haven't changed in the last, 30 some years, to be honest. So, it's just, it is what it is. But again, you can have your own theories on it. And DL and I have talked about this. I'm not overly religious, but I believe a lot of the problems of today do have to do with the fact that religion isn't where it used to be in people's lives and importance. And again, I'm not overly religious at all, but I can tell you that there's definitely an evil out there, and we've all seen it.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm sorry if that evil is real. I pray every day that God is real. Doesn't matter. And again, I just had this conversation with a gentleman last night. I don't care what religion you are. Okay. Religion doesn't matter. Your relationship with God himself is what should be important for you. And then getting, more so whether you're Catholic or Christian or Methodist or, Jewish. I don't fucking care, man. That doesn't matter. To me it is your personal relationship with your Lord. Even if you want to go back to, Greek gods and whatnot, I don't care. Like, you can discuss all that all you want, but at the end of the day, that's the important part to me. And I think God being taken out of, again, whatever one you want to go with, out of schools and out of all the stuff they took it out of, look at where we've kind of fallen. And again, not very religious here. DL, you and I have had, not a lot of discussions when it comes to that. You go to church, but what do you think of how I, please?
Well, I remember back in school, we used to pray before our lunch.
Yep.
We'd all bow our heads and pray. And then all of a sudden they stopped it, And you know what? When you take God out of stuff, that's just the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
People's like, well, why does God allow this stuff? Well, he's not going to stay where he's not wanted.
Yeah.
He's not going to force himself on anybody. So.
Yeah. Well, the cruelest trick to ever did was make the world think he didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's some real evil out there. I mean, we're not joking about there's the shit in the politics that's evil, but there's true evil out there. And we're seeing the political people trying to, pedophilia. Man, I'm sorry. If you're going to be messing with kids and you're going to rename it, they just need to name them kid fuckers or fertilizer. That's more appropriate.
They want to make it. They're trying to make it where it's just love. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's a fucking illness and a sickness, and the only way I see it curing it is with lead. Just saying, to each their own. But that, again, that's just my point of view. A dead one ain't going to be molesting no kids. It's going to put a real quick stop to the next one thinking about doing it. And that goes for rapers too. If you really rape someone, I mean, sure, throw them in jail, let them get raped a bit, whatever. But, at the same time, if the punishment was death, do you think we'd be having that much of it? No. I mean, with the society of today, I can't comment, but a couple decades ago, I'd have said no. Because they're cheering in the street for the shit nowadays. So, yeah, the shit that makes no sense where all of us are going, okay, and even the normies are going, wait a minute, that's not right. Even they're going, wait a minute. I don't know, dude. I looked at the votes. I saw where it's a whole lot of red and little teeny tiny pockets of blue. And all I can say is if we invade those pockets of blue, they ain't going to be blue no more.
No, it'll be red.
They ain't going to be purple. They're just going to be red. Because, we've been pushed so far and so long that if civil war happens, there's going to be a Thanos snap. I'm sorry to say. There's going to be a lot of not people here no more. And it's not going to be us. Like, the older of us that grew up rough and tough and, poor and had to fight for everything, we'll still be here when the smoke clears. Just saying, unless we get taken out by an asteroid. The human race is gonna continue. Let's hope we can steer correct it and fix it. And I think if Santos runs with or without Trump, that we will have Santos as the first Latino president, because we already had Obama, who took out a woman. We've got the first, we had the first black president. We have the first black female vice president. Now, what would be next on that reparations list, right? Wouldn't it be Latinos?
Native American.
Is there or is there not logic in what I just said?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just a point of view, and I'm okay. I'm not against Santa. Like, the fact he's Latino has nothing to do with it. I'm enjoying the stuff he's saying. That was that clip I was playing, yesterday, and I really dug it. Everything was fine until there were 50 illegals in Martha's Vineyard. Then they got upset, but 50 in a place in Texas that die, they don't give a shit. This happens, that happens, they don't care. Cartel people killing their people, they don't care. But they come to Martha's Vineyard, get them the fuck out. Ask your Democratic Commie Party. Because it's not the Democratic. They're not Democrats. They're communists.
No,
same problem we've got with these Republicans that aren't Republicans. They're Democrats, posing as Republicans. We got a lot of those. And Trump knows who they are. That's why they don't want him back in. Because they'll all going to get fired. When he said no more term limits, like, I have to believe that what Trump learned is who the fuck to get out of our government. Like, legitimately. Because he knows who's fucking everything up on every level. And it's not just one party. I'm sorry, guys. It's everybody. Everybody in office now, it needs to be gone.
There's no need for a politician to be in there for decades and decades. I mean,
we all have to retire and get retirement. Why shouldn't they? Why do they get as much money as they do to do absolutely nothing and not speak on our behalf? My state didn't have Sunday alcohol, Gary. Sunday alcohol. No, we can't have Sunday alcohol. Well, why not? 5 minutes right across state lines got it. So we always just bought plenty, right? That was the thing. And then but for here, it was the big restaurant push. Go out on Sundays and go out to eat and get your drinks, which that just promotes drunk driving. Let's be honest. That's all that fucking promotes. So, finally, the guys that were keeping it from happening were even saying, oh, we're going to have more DUIs now. It's like, how? We're not going to be on the road fucking driving, you asshole. We'll be going to the store, getting our beer along with donuts and some other shit Sunday morning, and then go back to the garage and wrench on shit, and then go to bed and get up Monday morning and go to work. Hungover and picking up trash, as we've done since the 80s. Y'all love Cobra Kai? Well, guess what? Johnny's character, that was me and DL a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, not the Kung Fu and shit, but how he was, drinking and working. And, I did that for a bit. DL, I know you did. So, hell yeah, we've lived. We've had fun. I'd still like to get out of this country, but now I'm more scared to leave and the thoughts of coming back.
Yeah. It used to be fun.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it did, man. It did. It used to be real fun.
It ain't so much fun anymore.
Well, they're still controlling everybody with fear, but as we've seen in China, when the people of China are finally saying that's it, we've had enough, like, that should open up your eyes, because that goes worldwide. Like, it is time to fight communism. I'm sorry, it is. 2024 is the time to eradicate this shit. We already had fucking World War II over this shit. And the problem is, instead of exterminating it, we started tolerating it. And here we are now, where we are now considered Nazis because we don't want to tolerate the Communist Party in the ways that they're doing shit. So, there you go. Roll that up in your pipe and smoke it.
We're the ones called commies because we're calling the evil out, but they want to call us evil because we're calling the evil out.
Correct. And it's just,
they're calling evil good and good evil.
Yeah.
Which the Bible said there would come a time where people would do that.
Oh, yes, exactly. The rich become poor, the poor become rich. Revelations. Yeah, we got some warnings. And mind you, we're not talking this goofy shit like, I don't know about you. We've never really got into the Y2K much. But like, I was a firm believer that was the biggest scam pre-COVID.
They scared people with the damn Y2K, and then came 2012. Oh no, the Mayan calendar. Who gives a shit about what the Mayan calendar says?
You know why we don't have anything past that? Because the civilization that took them over fucking wiped them out. That's why.
Yeah.
And maybe they rewrote history as well, because how can you not question everything after what we've lived through from 2020 to 2022? I'm sorry, really, how can you not? Everything we've ever been told, I now question. How do I know that this is the actual history that was left a couple hundred years ago? We weren't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long has this shit been really going on of retelling, history and then changing it at, 100 years later? We don't know. I mean, we're witnessing it here with the, tearing down fucking Confederate statues and this, that, and the other. Yet I never understood that, because the Confederate Army was the first army to ever have blacks in it in the first place. And they were free. They weren't all slaves. Sorry to break it to you people, but they weren't.
See, they want to tear that stuff down because, well, if we tear it down, that means it didn't happen. Well, what do you mean it didn't happen? It actually did happen. Just because you're tearing it down don't mean it didn't happen. You're wanting to wipe out history,
right?
So people forget it. You want people to forget history.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember history. That way you don't repeat it.
And you understand what we've already went through to get to where we are, to not to be where we are right now. Because back in the 90s, this shit wasn't going on. Those towers fell and we didn't have racism. It ended. It was America versus all the rest of you motherfuckers. That is how we felt. Like, whoa, wait, time out. Like, before we were just playing softball, but you just fucking kicked us in the nuts. Like, okay, now you see what we do for fun, right? You should be scared. You think you bunch of little, sand people are going to withstand those of us that build monster trucks and tear dunes apart? Yeah, man. Like, you don't want to play with us. Like, you don't want to play with no gloves on. I'm just saying. Just saying. We all crazy anyway, and past our generations, we don't get very many generations past stars where it just went to complete shit. It went to insanity taking over, and it just, yeah, it's really sad. I don't know how we course correct other than, we really need this election to go be Republican, get the Democrats out, fix all the damage, but also fix it from ever happening again. Term limits, paper machines again. Fuck this electronic bullshit.
Electronic stuff can be messed up too easily. They're proving that.
Oh, time and time again, they've proven that. And I've said it before, you want to also help solve the illegal immigration and them with social security numbers they shouldn't have. The only way you vote is with your social security number and card in hand, in tow, with a driver's license.
ID, yeah.
Yep, proving who the fuck you are.
You have to have your ID to buy cigarettes, buy beer, even buy a damn fishing license. But no, you don't want an ID to vote.
And you have to buy. You got to have an ID for your guns and ammo too, DL.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have your license.
Oh, if you ask for ID, that's racist.
No, really? It's not.
No, it's not.
That was that whole bullshit. Like when I worked at a gas station back in the 90s, and you'd have to ask ID for cigarettes and shit.
Well, if they're if you're not going to ask for ID for the vote, then screw it. Don't ask ID for anything.
Exactly. Because this is something that needs to be done, because illegals do not have the right to vote here. They shouldn't even fucking be here. Sorry.
Unless they become an American citizen.
if you take the classes and you want to become an American citizen, great, but don't flee here and then bring your shit here and try to convert us. Yeah, exactly. No, we're not gonna go for that one.
No, I think, and well, we had our kid here, so now it's an American. No, way I look at it, only way that baby should be an American if mom and dad both were born here.
Well, I mean, like, okay, here's the thing. Just because you spit out an anchor baby doesn't make you or said baby a fucking citizen. Now, go through the steps to become a citizen? Sure, I'm all right with that. But you can't come here illegally and then have a baby and then be like, well, the baby's American, now we're American. No, that's bullshit. That's invasion tactics, motherfuckers. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we've already lost a war. They came with leaf blowers and shit, and Americans got too goddamn lazy.
Yeah.
Although
it's like, they would say, well, they're doing jobs Americans don't want to do. Well, Americans used to do those jobs.
Yep.
What do you think did them beforehand?
They didn't exist beforehand, don't you know? Just like, looks like meat's back on the table, boys. We got some orc ribs. I know. $2.49 a pound. That's an old picture. Oh, there we go. We got some cat women.
Right.
Oh, that's a horrible form of destruction, but it's funny.
Yeah.
See, that's an issue we never would have had in our era. Yeah, there's no balls falling out of the strippers we used to order. Yeah, that's definitely yeah. Oh yeah. And then yeah, see, it's true. See, I still conversate with the Doomcock. He's a good dude. You know, he got pictures of the new puppy. You know. But mama and puppy. But yeah, I mean it's again saggy, same thing. She got pictures of Frank. She got so excited she had to cancel off the Etep Wokuian stream last night because she got pictures of Francis and she just couldn't be bothered to come hang out with the humans. But she got hit with that snowstorm, so some bad weather, but another good person, and it's just I don't know. I do feel blessed with a lot of the people that I've got the opportunity to connect with and meet, and such as UDL, Uncle Gary here. It's just it is nice to see this not be negative all the time. The internet.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative, and it's nice to find something positive right now and then.
Yeah. Being able to talk to you from states away and, just, how many times we just hang out and BS,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the gals today that went out of their way to do their jobs properly, but also listen to me and help me get through the headaches I was getting through to get what I got done. And it's good people like that deserve the shout outs. And that's, again, why I was thanking, Danielle and Janet at the beginning of the show, because those ladies, I know it's their job anyway, but they're understanding why older gentlemen such as us are just like, look, we don't believe in this nonsense bullshit. Like, just pay it. I don't need to jump through hoops. That's your job. I just want my shit at the end of the day. So let me have whatever it is I'm trying to get. And you go play with these people and them getting to see it through our eyes. To me, that was a big victory. Because too many people just think the system works and it doesn't. I'm sorry, boys and girls. It doesn't work. Our own system is broke. There's no reason that our elderly get paid and all their money goes for prescriptions and shit, and they barely got any money to survive. It's, that goes for disabled people as well, because it's pretty rough just getting by day to day. Used to be I worked, my ex-wife didn't work. She stayed at home with the kids and we survived, and I only had to work one job. Not in 2022. Christ, you'd have to work, 20 jobs? Because every job is only 2 days if you're lucky. 16 hours if you're lucky these days, it seems.
Unless you're that kid crying over at the Starbucks because he had to work a part-time job. I had to work 8 hours today. Shut
Mm-hmm.
up.
8 hours. Hell, I mean, I remember when part time only got 3 hours.
Yeah.
Back in our eras, like part time,
Mhm.
you didn't get shit. Mainly, it was so that if you were like head of a crew or something, you could get a day off. You had that one person that could cover you, so that would be about it. But yeah, we worked 40, 50, 60 hour weeks, man, for years in factories through holidays.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers were taking pictures and I was developing them and working on the machinery that did so as well. So I mean, yeah, when you were talking fat, yeah, man, I mean, I got you. That was, again, it was a great job, great insurance, great benefits. The only time I ever owned stock, the company gave me stock. I had Kodak stock, a couple hundred shares. I never did anything with it. Probably lost it when the company went under.
Yeah.
But I technically had like a couple hundred shares or what, because I'd been with the company for quite a few years before they shut down. And I knew shutdown was coming. I knew this digital age was coming. I watched it come into photography. I watched as they were what was it, the 3x5 floppy, when they went from that to what is it, like 1.6 or 8 or 5 or whatever, the little red ones, when we were putting film on those. You were getting or then we started putting the discs, creating the discs and burning the images on the disc straight from the negative, instead of like how when we get it and everything, it's already done. We were the ones that were doing that back before you could do it at a 1 hour place. So like I saw all that stuff come in, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. You're a dish boy. Well, what do you mean I gotta wash dishes?
You mean
Yeah.
I gotta actually work for a living?
Yeah, I mean, my first job was on a roofing crew doing groundwork, picking up nails, tarps, the shit work. That was my first job. I mean, besides like a paper route and whatnot. I had a paper route and that kind of shit. Couple paper routes, actually. That's nice because we always knew the Sunday ads like a week in advance if you
Yeah.
delivered the paper. But yeah, man, it's that was it though. That was one of my first real jobs. Was ground crew.
First
Getting all
job
yeah.
I got paid was working at a catfish hatchery. And you talk about a hard, dirty, stinking job, you know. And then I went to work for my dad, working construction.
Mm-hmm.
And people, oh, you work for your dad. He takes it easy on you. Oh, no, he didn't. He made an example of me, you know. He wasn't going to take it easy on me just because I was his son, you
Yeah.
know.
You're like, no, I got to work with this asshole, and he's my
I,
dad.
I have to ride in with him, work with him, go home with him,
Yep,
and then spend the rest of the night with this guy, and he's still pissed off when we go home.
dude. So you just had it with your dad. I had it with my wife, her cousin, and one of the other girls that stayed with us because they all worked at Kroger's together, and
Hmm.
my wife was their boss.
Yeah.
And you know what though? We never ever had an issue of carryover from work to home. Like, I mean, we were blessed in that way. Like, I mean, there were times they'd be a little sore at each other, but it never affected the home, you
Well,
know.
well, unfortunately, my dad didn't know how to separate work from home. You know, if he was pissed off about something that happened at work, he took it home with him.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. Holy shit, we've been going almost an hour. I figured we'd go for like a half an hour, and where did that hour go? My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That just flew by. I wasn't
Yeah.
even expecting it. Well, Parrothead, thank you for jumping in. And Nelson, thank you for jumping in. This was just something, Gary had, DL had some time. My Uncle Gary here had some time to jump on with me today since, yesterday he was having some issues and, we kind of had some massive conversations going on and, got a little derailed here and there, but, he had some time today where we could do some old man jibber jabber. I know I mainly did a lot of it, but it was an exciting day for me, man. I had a good night. I got to, we did our show Wednesday. I ended up on the member stream with Etep. Then I ended up on the main show with Etep. Then I ended up doing the wrestling with Draven, and they got to hang out with everybody afterwards, and had some good talks with some good people, and got to bed about 3:30 this morning, and crashed and was up by 9. Yeah, and then right into dealing with insanity to turning it into actually fun, and got to educate a young gal and let them understand the headaches, and then come and talk to any of you that didn't understand that's kind of like you're working now and hoping for where we are, but where we are, trust me, it's not that peachy on the other side of that green castle. Just saying, the grass is not always greener on the other side, and you do still got to fight to stay alive, unfortunately, because they want to kill us all.
Well, look at it. They need to look at it. If they're looking at it from our point of view. If it looks this bad now, what's it going to look like when they're having to deal with it?
Exactly. It will do. Frank is spoiled. He's passed out right now over there on the middle of the pillow, blocking all the other dogs from laying on the pillow. Yeah. What's up, Jens? We're just wrapping up, brother. What's up, buddy?
I'm going to have to get off here. My nephew called a little bit ago, and I haven't talked to him for a few days, so I'm going to call him back and see what's up.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back for Friday Fun with Friends. Jens, if you're not doing nothing, 2 p.m. Eastern, my time, baby. We'll be jumping back on tomorrow. This was just kind of a quick, positive-ish. Wanted to inform everybody. Just kind of have an old man talk. Some OMT, baby. Some OMT. But yeah, thank you everybody for making it. Friday, Saturday night's main event. Let's see. So Friday, yeah, I'll be back here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Friday Fun with Friends. 5:05 Eastern, probably with Vinnieart, Vinnieart. Then after that, 8:05, 8:35. If Tony does something liars on Friday. Saturday, of course, will be Etep Wokuian's place to be reviews for the Saturday night's main event. I think we're doing a watch party, he said. I wasn't 100% sure. Maybe. And then, yeah, it'll kick back with Mondays and Tuesdays, sometimes on with Time and the Guinea Pig Collective. I think we're taking a break from the Monday Night Retrospective, but we might do a Tuesday show sometimes with Tony. So it's going to be a Clown World review as well for those of you that don't know. Links will be in the description. I still got to do that from yesterday's. But take care, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And until tomorrow, take care, and we'll